In the past quarters, markets has been bad for equities and bonds, globally speaking. US equities going down, Europe equities going down, Asia equities going down, bond price generally going down. And we'd like to share with you how successful and outperforming investor is doing under this bearish situation. We will share our experience, real life experience with you. April 2022 about the Q2 outlook. We see a strong US dollar, higher US interest rates, and it's a higher trading cost for most traders of non-US dollar assets. And we are preparing for another quarter of consolidations for both fixed income and equity assets. We see supply chain disruption will be there, and inflation number will be higher. The recent Russia-Ukraine war triggered the nerve of diversification away from US dollar as the most heavy-weighted reserve currencies. It will do good for alternative assets such as cryptocurrencies. And we see there are blockage for the cryptocurrency floating to the retail market. The outlook of US equities, we already seen sharp consolidation on thematic sectors, and we expect excessive liquidity sensitive sector will keep suffering in the coming quarters. We are starting to do more in-depth research on the potential investment targets. We're waiting for the good opportunities. So we are correct mostly on the outlook of Q2. Because we have correct market views and right investment methodology, so we can avoid most major equity crashes in new economy sectors such as e-commerce, fintech, cryptocurrencies, meta-universe, and also avoiding buying bonds since July 2021. So why Morphing Family Office can avoid these crashes? Because we have convictions in the presumptions of withdrawal liquidity in US could impact all the excess liquidity sensitive sectors, mostly negatively. The critical factors that push us to take investment actions is the possible absolute loss under the worst case scenario that drive us to do that. We have adjusted the positions according to our absolute loss risk appetite. What should investors do after experiencing the deep corrections? We are using fundamental analysis to determine the second and third tranches of the buying price of those either stocks or bonds under different scenarios. And of course, we're already using our absolute loss tolerance limit to reset our investable targets limits. How much should I buy? The same answer, we should use scenario analysis and planning together with your personal total assets and liability matching so that you see how much you could take. We have not changed our outlook, and we are still expecting a strong US dollar, and we see US interest rate will go higher, and we expect the global major stock markets and even the emerging markets will have another quarter of consolidations. Key factors to consider while formulate your new investment plan. Always plan according to your absolute loss tolerance limits. And investors still hesitate to de-risk their investment portfolio after sharp corrections. And they are rescheduling their buying on further weaknesses, probably in scene of loss cutting, while subsidize the loss through profit taking in those counters that they have made profits. So we expect the relative outperformers will keep relative outperforming, while in terms of absolute pricing, we may see a negative absolute price performance. So we expect the utility sectors, bonds or equities will remain outperforming. China's central government since imposed business directives to certain business sectors, and we see quite heavy losses from these listed counters, and it's difficult to reverse the losses, although we will see more fine-tuning coming out from China's central government regarding these directives. Withdrawal of liquidity by US, Fed, and other central banks will be there, so still we need to be aware of the excessive liquidity sensitive sectors. Again, we need to do in-depth research now about those appropriate investment targets while we're rebuilding our asset location for the long run. Beware of the promotion of various investment funds in this timing, especially the expensive or non-expensive front-end loading costs. Aware of the illiquidity, the illiquid stocks and bonds will cause a selling spread that will be quite negative to the investor. Cryptocurrency, as we said, it is good in the long run for diversification purpose, yet now we are going against the deglobalization trend that is prevailing. For major countries that they would like to launch their own digital currencies, so it will make the development of cryptocurrency quite sluggish in the coming quarters. So we see more financial regulation will be imposed on the cryptocurrency industry, and will cause the imminent future more foggy in our reading. Of course, the industry is still subject to faults, so that we should be aware. And still the biggest risk for investor at the moment is the deglobalization trend. It will cause a lot of disruption to the conventional business model, and the disruption will be mostly negative to a lot of the business that we need to be aware of. Two asset analysis notes. How to justify of high valuation stocks even after sharp corrections. For example, PE ratio, price to earning ratio, if exceed 100 times or 200 times, what it means is the company investor would expect, if take the yearly earnings at the moment, it would take 100 years for the stock price to break even to the earnings. So we need to justify how company can achieve that astronomical growth. Okay, so Tesla is one of the examples that need deep research again. Another point is the mark-to-market. Because of the volatilities and the trading liquidity is now drying up, so illiquidity actually will cause a lot of the dislocation in pricing. So when you see a price on the exchange, when you really sell it, it may cause you a lot of negative spread. So because of the illiquid condition at the moment, so have to really take care your asset valuation. So what should investors do in bearish situation? Really strong headwinds. You should do hard work, use your skill that you have learned. And if you have no insight, you cannot have convictions. Review your total portfolio and total liabilities. See what you can take. We cannot make sustainable gain in next upcycle without patience and a proper investment plan. You should use the right philosophy and methodology to rebalance your total portfolio. This is a time for you to use your fishing skill that you have learned. Formulate your new investment plan according to your absolute loss tolerance limits. That is very, very important. So watch again our videos section talk about our investment methodology. Refresh your fishing skills. Visit our company website. We have a lot of links directly to the previous video sections, and 2 sessions highly recommend for you to refresh. Thank you so much. Talk to you.